If you've been keeping an eye on my community tab, you'll know that recently I was without internet for a couple of days. At the time, I speculated that it was clumsy construction workers that were at fault, and indeed it was. They were busy doing this, and they made a mess of it. And why exactly were they doing this? Well, the whole road out of the village is being renewed, and for that to happen, they first had to move the optical fiber cables out of the way. You know, so they wouldn't accidentally slice through them and cut us off from the internet for days at a time. Now, don't get me wrong, the road is definitely in need of repair, and it's going to take more than just a simple resurfacing. They're also going to be working on the verges and doing some other stuff to make it nicer to drive on. They only gave us about 2 or 3 weeks notice, though, despite the fact that this kind of thing is normally planned months in advance. And why is this an issue? Well, the road is going to have to be closed for about 2.5 months to allow the work to go ahead. In fact, it has now just happened. This is what it looks like when a road in Germany is closed. And you see, I live in a very rural area, and this is our main route to civilization. It leads to the next village where the railway station, the local administrative offices, the grocery stores, the doctors, dentists, and banks all are. Let me show you on this handy map. Here's our village, here's where we need to get to, and here's the road that's been closed. And this means that we have to follow an alternative route which goes this way. Not so bad, although it does mean diverting all the traffic through 2 villages that already have a lot of traffic going through them. Except for trucks, because all motor vehicles except for buses with a maximum permitted laden weight of 3.5 tons or more is prohibited from using that road. Those vehicles have to take a much, much longer route. You know what one of the biggest industries in this area is? Timber. Massive tree trunks which we export on this kind of thing. Yeah, I'm sure all the drivers are ecstatic about this. Fortunately, this sign does not prohibit buses, and yes, I did check, so at least they get to use the shorter route. But that's still a problem. Aside from the fact that they've had to change the timetable because the diversion takes longer and we still need to connect with the train or with the other buses, well, take a look at this. This is the route that the bus normally takes, but because this road is closed, the bus has to go this way instead, and that means that this bus stop can no longer be used. And that is really, really inconvenient for anyone living in this area. And yes, folks, that's me. I now have to walk nearly 1 kilometre to the nearest bus stop. Of course, some locals are going to be tempted to use a more direct but illegal route along this road, but if they do that, then it's only a matter of time before they start posting police officers at each end to stop them. Now, where I come from, this sort of situation is normally handled by only partially closing the road and using temporary traffic lights at strategic points to regulate single-lane traffic. It's annoying, and it means it takes longer to complete the work, but it is doable. Apparently not here, though, where we've been told that no, it's not going to be possible. The only way is to close the road completely. That's just how it's done in Germany. It would probably have been only half as bad if they'd given us a bit more notice, because an awful lot of questions suddenly presented themselves. How will this affect all the delivery services? Will local producers be able to organise things so that they still have time to deliver to our village shop? Will the baker's van still make it? Will it take even longer just to get a plumber? I mean, like I said, the work has to be done. We would just have appreciated a bit more time to organise everything. And we just have to hope that they can put the optical fibre cables back without tearing them to shreds. And meanwhile, I have a bus to catch. Now, where did I put my hiking boots? I speculated that it was clumsy is the word I'm looking for. Put the optical fibre cables, and it's going to take more than just a simple resurfacing. They're also going to be, oh